Welcome, everybody, to, I believe, the third installment of Frenzy Talk.
Continuation of Sports Frenzy, but in a little bit different format for you guys in case our classrooms need to break it up a little more. Yeah, the picks edition, and now we have the info part of the show. Wrestling this week, a big part of the show. Yes. One of Jamie Rose's favorite pay-per-views we're going to be talking about. He's been watching a lot of pay-per-views leading up to this. And yes, that's right. WWE's two big pay-per-views this weekend. NXT TakeOver and the Royal Rumble. We've been looking forward to discussing this one with you guys.
Yep, I've probably watched, I would say at least half of the old Royal Rumbles.
Wow, good for you, bro.
Yep.
What's the earliest one you've done so far?
92.
Have you been jumping around and doing like early ones too?
Yep. I think
Okay, so you're not really as like old school of a wrestling guy like me, kind of. So, because I know like some of the older stuff gets kind of monotonous to you. How have you felt about some of the earlier Rumbles, and have you stayed away from the earlier ones, or are you finding yourself going back?
I watched the 92 one. I mean, all in all, I've watched, I think, all Royal Rumbles. Probably the only exception is maybe the 89 one. But I know.
So how many of the ones have you watched so far have had Hulk Hogan in them? Because Hulk Hogan would have been stable back in the day.
Yeah.
So he would have been in almost every Royal Rumble, I think.
92.
Okay, let me ask you this. Have you watched the very first Royal Rumble to determine who would be the WWF at the time champion? Did you watch that one?
Yeah, that was the 92 one. Ric Flair won it.
Wait, wasn't that?
It was 92. The first one was in 1988, and Jim Hacksaw Duggan won it, and there was no... it wasn't for a title or anything. Yeah, I think it was more just more for fun, I think.
I'm thinking wrong pay-per-view. I was thinking of the pay-per-view that to determine who the next WWF at the time champion would be, and was when Macho Man won it and Hogan helped him win it.
Nope, that was Ric Flair.
Okay.
92 was, and that was Ric Flair.
All right.
The title's only been put on the line twice in the Royal Rumble match. Yes?
I just got it work.
Oh. What's up? Travis is joining us again.
Just got out of work.
You did?
Yeah.
What's up?
Oh, tired.
Welcome to the show. We get the hand. Just put little like triangles by your name there. So we're talking about wrestling. We know how much you love wrestling, Travis.
Know nothing of it.
You know nothing of it. So yes, the 92 Royal Rumble was the first time the title was ever put up online there. So, and then last year too.
Last year the title was up on the line for. That's how, because they screwed Roman Reigns out of the title, basically.
Yep.
All right. So for what we'll do here I think what we'll do first for the audience that's still tuning in for the picks, we'll go ahead and get through the picks, and then we'll get crazy on our talk.
Sounds good.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. I'm going to let you go ahead and start us off then, Rose.
All right. We'll go over that later there. First up, this is Sunday. We're going to cover WWE first. We have Sunday, 7 p.m., WWE
All right,
Network.
Rose, I got to stop you right there. Why are we covering WWE first?
Because it's the Royal Rumble.
Why are we covering the Royal Rumble when it's not till Sunday?
I don't know.
Got NXT first.
All right, we'll go to NXT first. NXT first.
Well,
NXT.
no, we got to go by the list. You got the Royal Rumble on the list. We might as well go with that first.
No, what do you want to go with? You want to go with WWE or?
We're going with the order you have here. We don't want to confuse the audience.
From now on, I will do NXT first, though, because that makes more sense. I see where you're going with.
Okay, as long as you see where I'm going with this.
So anyways, we're going to do NXT first. NXT, Saturday, 8 p.m., WWE Network, San Antonio. So it's NXT TakeOver San Antonio. We have Bobby Roode. Glorious.
Didn't you just say we were doing the Royal Rumble first?
Oh, my God. Oh.
What are you doing to me, Rose?
What do you mean, what am I doing to you?
It's disgusting down here.
You have AJ Styles and John Cena as the first two.
Okay, we'll do the Royal Rumble. So it's the Royal Rumble, 7 p.m., WWE Network, San Antonio, Texas. We have AJ Styles, the phenomenal AJ Styles, versus John Cena. We got to work on our communication, Tim.
Hey, I'm just going by what you have right here on the list.
I know, I see the list.
WWE Royal Rumble is first.
John Cena's going for his 16-time world championship. What do you think, Tim? Travis is saying John Cena. It's tough because I know they were talking he's going to get his 16-time world championship, but I don't know if it's now or if it's another time.
Aye.
Start the show.
This is January pay-per-view. We got February.
Just start it.
And then WrestleMania is March.
March or April.
That's helpful. I don't think it's John Cena's time. I think I have no idea how this is going to happen or what's going to happen. I just think this is going to lead up to something bigger for WrestleMania. So I feel like right now AJ Styles is going to retain that title.
There's 1 point for me.
I'm torn on this one because I could see it going either way.
I think it's going to be his because I
don't
heard he's
feel
getting away
like
from it and going back to movies.
Yeah, but that's no reason for him not to win it, though.
But for him to win it and walk away with 16, that's the way I take it.
Travis is saying that he's hearing that he's getting away from wrestling, going back to movies, so it's a reason for him to get his 16 and then walk away from it.
He's got 2 movies that he's in the next year and a half.
Ooh. Plus, the next pay-per-view is the Elimination Chamber. And it is a SmackDown one. So I could see him winning it. I'm going to go with John Cena, too. Just because I could see him winning it and then losing it in the Elimination Chamber. And then that...
All right.
That's what I'm going to go with there, so...
I just don't know. Cena is like a part-timer now, and AJ is...
I'll go with him.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Oof. You want me to just do the next one, or you want to do it?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Set it up for us.
All right. Next up, we have the WWE Universal Champion, Kevin Owens. Uh-oh. He's dropping stuff.
Yeah, technical difficulties here. All right, we're back. Kevin Owens, you said? Yes, there we go.
There he is. Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. And Chris Jericho, who is Kevin Owens' best friend, is going to be suspended from a shark cage from the rafters, so he cannot interfere. But I have a feeling that he's still going to figure out a way to interfere.
Roman will take them both out.
Travis is going with Roman Reigns. I'm going with Kevin Owens because I could still see Chris Jericho.
Yes, I think they're still leading up to a Chris Jericho Roman Reigns fight. Chris Jericho's the one that took the belt away from him. Chris Jericho is going to be going back on tour with Fozzy and leaving soon. I think Roman Reigns is going to get the U.S. title back at some point. I got Kevin Owens in this one.
All right. Now NXT, which is on Saturday, 8 p.m. WWE Network, San Antonio, Texas. NXT TakeOver, San Antonio.
Wow, it's like in the same place.
I know. I think different arenas, though. We have first up the glorious Bobby Roode versus the NXT champion Shinsuke Nakamura. And this one I could see going in many different directions also. I think if Shinsuke loses the title, I think Shinsuke will be in the Royal Rumble match.
I don't think Shinsuke is going to lose the title yet. I don't think I don't know why. I just for some reason don't think they're ready to move him up to the main roster yet.
Things are about to get interesting, I have a feeling.
I don't think I just don't think they're ready to push Bobby Roode as the champion, and I don't see I don't think they're ready for that yet.
So you're going Shinsuke.
I'm going Shinsuke for the win.
All right.
I'm with him just because of what he said.
All right.
I don't know either one of them.
Travis is going with Shinsuke. This is like the minor league of wrestling, of WWE, basically. But it's kind of, the wrestling's better down in NXT, I think. So, and the last match is Ty Dillinger.
Did you go with Shinsuke
too?
I'm
sorry. I went with Bobby Roode.
Oh, wow, Rose.
Yep. He's undefeated, and I think there's not much left for Shinsuke to do down there. I think
come on. I'm going to be downright ticked off if they have Shinsuke lose to Bobby Roode. And that ends his title reign at NXT. They got to come up with better leaving fights for these guys than that.
Yeah, that's what I gotta go with though. So, I'm probably gonna lose a point. I'm just gonna say that. But
I don't know, man. These are some good ones this week. That's for sure.
Yeah, and lastly is the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, 10 versus. The leader of Sanity, Eric Young. It seems like Ty Dillinger's on a bit of a losing streak as of late. And I don't know if they're getting ready to call him up. I'm not sure where they're going with this. But I'm going to go with Eric Young.
I got to go Eric Young because I like Eric Young, and I don't necessarily like him in the bad guy role they have him in, but Eric Young has been around the block. He's a great wrestler. His style in TNA was pretty amazing. Mm-hmm. And, I don't see Ty Dillinger being a threat to him.
Yeah.
Not
a clue.
Travis is going Eric Young too, so.
I got it loaded.
Oh, nice.
Napoleon,
okay.
Madison
for Travis.
Ooh. I'm going against Deerfield, so I'll go Clinton.
All right. Real quick, getting Travis's picks in here.
Dexter.
All right.
Blissfield. Onstead.
Mm-hmm. Nighthawks. Ooh.
Well, it's
so I had to remember. I did remember the question I wanted to ask you, Rose, this time around, and we'll get to that in just a second here.
I'll take a commercial break real quick so I can get Travis's picks in here. So bear with us for 1 second. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks that we actually don't have.
This moment has been brought to you by G-Generation X Gum. If you're not down with that, we got two words for you. American fights for the rights.
That's right, folks. A little nostalgic Hawkamania for you right there. So, getting back to Frenzy here after Jamie went through some of the other stuff we needed to do there real quick, and take a quick commercial break, which we have never done on the Frenzy Talk, but...
It was the first time for everything.
So, the question I held on to for the week that I wanted to ask you was, what do you think is going to be the better pay-per-view this time around?
Ooh.
Are you going with the Royal Rumble, or will it be NXT?
Actually, that was another thing I was going to cover real quick here, was the other matches that are on both pay-per-views. That way you guys can see. But right off the bat, I'm going to go with NXT.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It always seems like when they have a WWE pay-per-view, but the previous night is NXT hits one out of the park. And then the next night sets up a lot of competition. Not competition, I shouldn't say that, but sets the bar really high for the for WWE's pay-per-view. And the reason I love the Royal Rumble is because it's always it's one of their top pay-per-views of the year. There's 4 top pay-per-views. It's Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania.
I just feel like lately,
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
NXT has been very development league-ish feel to it right now, and not as impressive as all the guys that have currently moved up. In fact, now they're leading up to this big event with I'm drawing a blank, women's champion. You like her, your girl.
Oh, Asuka.
Asuka, yes. They've been kind of lately. She hasn't really even been wrestling.
Nope.
They just bring her in and it's building up for this next NXT event, and I don't know. Of course, Shinsei hasn't really been wrestling either, for that matter.
And that's another reason I have this gut feeling he's coming up to the main roster soon.
Well, here's why I don't think they're going to do it here, because I have a feeling we're going to see. I really have a feeling we're going to see the return of Finn Balor at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, is that a surprise entry?
I'm betting it is.
Okay, that one I could believe. The reason I'm thinking Shinsuke is because you haven't seen him much. I feel like he's coming to the end of his time at NXT, and plus I've heard rumors that they're talking about him. I haven't heard any specific matches, but they have something big that they want to do with him for WrestleMania. So that's why I have a feeling he's coming up soon here. Plus, Bobby Roode is probably one of the only guys I could really see taking the title away from him right now. There's other guys that are coming up, but he's the one that right now I see is the only guy who could take the title from him right now. For NXT TakeOver, your main event is Bobby Roode versus Shinsuke Nakamura. For the Women's Championship, I also have a feeling Asuka's coming up to the main roster soon here, and this is a perfect way for her to lose the title without being pinned. Because this next match is.
I feel like they're leading up to an Asuka versus. I think they're gonna. This is another reason why I think Eric Young's gonna win. I think they're building up that group pretty good, and his girl there. I don't even remember.
Nikki Cross.
Nikki Cross is in the hunt for the title right there.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if they're going to lead up to a feud between those two for a little bit.
But it's Asuka. It's a fatal 4-way. Asuka versus Nikki Cross versus Peyton Royce versus what's her name?
And Asuka asked for this match. She said to make it a fatal 4-way.
Yes. Billie Kay. That's what her name is. But Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, I feel like they're up and coming, but I don't feel like they're at that point yet of
Both of them have made appearances on SmackDown at one time, as they'll let you know. They do say that from time to time. They've been introduced on SmackDown a few times as this probably a jobber, basically.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't feel they're nowhere near ready to come up.
Then for the WWE or the NXT Tag Champions, DIY versus the Authors of Pain. Anyways, going back to both Tim and I gave our opinions on the NXT Championship. Tim thinks Shinsuke is going to win. I think Bobby Roode and Shinsuke is coming up to the main roster. Tim, who do you think is going to win for the? You think Asuka's going to retain the title?
I think Asuka will retain the title.
I think Nikki Cross will win. I think Asuka will get thrown out of the ring or something like that, and then Nikki Cross will pin one of the other two for the win.
I just feel, for me, with somebody as big, and this is, I don't know if they'll handle it that way or not, but for somebody as big as Saka and Shinsuke Nakamura, they need to have a big out. I don't want to see they've been defeated, clap, thank you. I want to see something huge.
But you have to remember, they both will have rematches. Somebody has to step up in NXT, and because I have to kind of think, these are two New Japan wrestlers, guys. They've been through. Just look at their YouTube stuff. I pulled up a YouTube video of her. It was a compilation video of some of her stuff alone. There's nothing these WWE people could do to her that should even phase her. I mean, New Japan is as close to ECW original wrestling stuff as you can get. And they've both been there. Both those guys have been there. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, I just think it's time for, and I think you and I always kind of go back and forth of when is the time to bring these people up to the main roster.
I agree. And I'm not saying I don't want to see them move up to the main roster. I'm just saying I just don't like the simple departures that they do for these guys.
Yeah.
For me, Finn Balor's departure was absolutely ridiculous.
But you have to remember, it's not that they're leaving the company to go to TNA or something like that. They're still in the company.
But I just feel like, let's not just have anybody come along that can just take them out. Let's do something like, okay, let's have maybe Triple H come to the place and say, you know what, Shinsuke, you've proved your point down here. You've made a heck of a champion. I feel like it's time we move you up to the main roster and you vacate the title here at NXT. Mm-hmm. I think they should do something more like that, because you got Finn Balor, who was unstoppable. Nobody could take him out. Nothing. And then just all of a sudden he went on a losing streak. And okay, now you're up, and now we're going to bring you up here. I just don't get that. I mean, I realize
thought it was weird, too, that he lost the title at a house show. It wasn't even a tape show or anything like that. It was a house show.
Yeah.
And then he had his rematch, and then that's it, done. I will agree with that. Yeah.
WWE has so much of the talent and so much originality that they could be doing here, and they don't use any of that. I mean, it's just we know that NXT is the development league, and it's a lower form of things up and coming. I mean, you've taken all these guys, and a lot of them have become big on WWE now. So I just want to see a little more of that, and not so much. I guess I like explanations for things. I don't want to see just suddenly this top guy drop to the bottom like that, and then go, okay, thanks for being here. Now he's moving up. It doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah. So you're saying Asuka holds on to the women's championship?
Well, you know, and a lot of this is based on just probably wishful thinking on my part, but yeah, I want to see her retain the title right now.
Okay. I think Nikki Cross will, but we'll set up for Nikki.
I think it's that's a good possibility with his what is that group called? I can't remember the name. Sanity is kind of popular and kind of stepping up in the ranks.
Well, they're dominant too, and so is the Authors of Pain too. So, speaking of the Authors of Pain, so I'm going with Nikki Cross winning and Asuka moving up to the main roster pretty quick here. Tim's going with Asuka. Next up is DIY versus the Authors of Pain. Authors of Pain are still undefeated.
Authors of Pain for me.
I'm going with you on that one.
I think they've got a very powerful team here, and they're being led by a legend, of course, their manager.
Paul Ellering. You
don't see managers that much anymore, but it's kind of cool to see the manager back doing something. Yep. I hope it continues on, and I would like to see them bring back more managers. That would be kind of sweet.
Yeah. Well, Paul Ellering also helps, too. I mean, generally he doesn't interfere, but he has interfered in their matches.
Not very often he doesn't. I mean, these are some big dudes.
Well, there was a couple times in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic that he did. He did against DIY, and he did against TM61. He was actually suspended from the Shark Cage also. And he dropped, I think, brass knuckles down or something like that, or a chain or something. And one of the guys punched the TM61 guy.
Oh, did he? I missed that. Yep. I didn't realize he ended up interfering in that match.
Last week, speaking of TM61, one of the guys from TM61 was attacked by the Revival. And I don't know if this is storyline. I have a feeling it's storyline, but they did that one move that they did on Johnny Gargano, where they it's almost like a figure four, and then the other guy jumps off and stomps on his leg.
Yeah.
Well, the one guy from TM61 went in for he had was it ACL or MCL? I'm trying to remember which one it was. One of the MC. I think it was MCL. And then he also had tore his MCL and had a partially torn meniscus in his knee. So he's going to be out for a little bit from TM61. And then the last match is Ty Dillinger versus Eric Young. Both Tim and I were going to go with Eric Young. But I don't know where they're going with Ty Dillinger. Because it seems like every time Ty Dillinger loses, it seems like he's like on that cusp of quitting, but I feel like that's a storyline.
I think Ty Dillinger is going to move up, honestly.
Yeah.
I think he's going to lose. He'll lose tomorrow night, and then I think to try and gain his momentum back, he's going to check into the Royal Rumble. It's kind of how I feel about it.
Yep, I would agree. And then there was also, there was a spur. They did one more match. Roderick Strong versus that Cien. Cien, I can't remember what his last name is. But it's interesting that the Revival isn't on the pay-per-view. So I'm curious what that means for the Revival.
I just can honestly say I've not been all that impressed with NXT these last few weeks. And have you noticed they're shorter? The episodes have been shorter lately.
No, yeah.
They don't
haven't had as many matches, I've noticed.
They don't have as many matches, and they don't go the whole hour. Like last night, or when I watched it this week, I watched it live. And they ended like 10 minutes early. It was 10 till 9, and it was over already.
Yeah.
So I think they got some work to do in NXT right now too.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. AJ Styles versus John Cena. Tim went with AJ. I went with John Cena. Anything you want to add to that match?
I just don't. I really think because they're playing it up, and I think now if WWE is doing this right, I think everybody's going to be like you and go like, yeah, I think Cena's going to win this. It's going to be a 16-time championship. I just feel like there's got to be. I think there's going to be somebody there that's going to interfere in this and make it more interesting for another upcoming match.
Oh, I didn't.
You have
know.
to remember this is Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So this is open for everybody.
Yeah.
AJ Styles' buddies are going to be there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that is true.
We haven't had a run-in a long time.
Yeah, from the club. This is breaking news to me. I didn't know about this one. This is why it's important for everybody to watch the Frenzy Talk here. Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. I knew about Chris Jericho suspended above the ring in a shark cage. I did not realize that the match is a no disqualification match, though.
Oh yes, they made it a no disqualification match. That's Tuesday night show. So yeah, yep, that's when they made it a no DQ match.
Oh well, that makes things interesting. So then it's kind of like, okay, what is the point of suspending Chris Jericho from a cage then? I don't really get that one, but okay.
I'm feeling. I think Jericho's going to still somehow interfere in that match.
Yeah,
I think Jericho's going to find a way out of that cage because he's Jericho.
I would agree. Yeah, like I was thinking he was going to do something like Paul Ellering did at the Dusty Rhodes Classic there, where he dropped like a chain or a brass knuckles down, and one of the Authors of Pain guy picked it up and hit his opponent. I think it's going to be something similar to that, but
Roman still gets mixed sounds. People are still cheering for him and still booing for him.
Yeah,
and he did not pull out the whole thing, but he did say the other night that he is the man.
Oh boy,
he said that. He didn't say the whole remarks, but he did say he's the man. So,
for the WWE Women's Championship, Raw Women's Championship, it is Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. I think Charlotte Flair will still win. I think they're having her go on some sort of winning streak on pay-per-views or something like that. So, because I think she's undefeated on pay-per-views, isn't she?
Yes, I believe you're right. On pay-per-views, she's the winner of. Yep. Honestly, I'd love to see Bayley win that, but yeah, I think you're right. I think they're going to have somebody interfering. I could see somebody interfering in that match too. I'm not quite sure who yet, but I think there'll be somebody who tries to take down Bayley.
Yeah. So both them are going with Charlotte on that one. That we have the WWE Cruiserweight Champion Rich Swann versus Neville.
Neville, I think, is going to get the title.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. Rich Swann has held that Cruiserweight belt for quite a while. He's a fan favorite, but still, I'm thinking Neville, especially with his mean streak he's had.
Yes, this new Neville they're going with. I have a feeling that's what they're leading up to. And then that'll bring back in. I feel that's going to lead up to a feud between him and is it PJ Perkins there?
TJ.
TJ Perkins, because he appears to be kind of a crowd favorite.
We have two kickoff matches.
Oh boy.
Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, and Naomi versus Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalya. So tag match there. And then the Raw Tag Team Championship is up for grabs. Cesaro and Sheamus versus Gallows and Anderson. I'm sorry. And then there's a third one, too. So there's three kickoff matches. Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. I was surprised that one's a kickoff match.
Yeah, me too. But, well, Nia Jax can't wrestle. So,
yeah.
She's had to wrestle nobodies, pretty much. She's jobbers. She does. Yep. Her winning streak is because of jobbers, basically. I was pretty impressed when they had. All right, so here's my take on that. So Nia Jax is going to be on the kickoff show. That's who's going to cost Bayley the title.
Nia Jax, or
she's still got a feud going on with her, basically, too, because a couple weeks back, Becky Lynch came out and distracted Nia Jax, and Bayley bombed her off the second or third rope, I think it was. So I'm betting they're going to lead up to her still having some heat with Bayley as well.
The Royal Rumble match. These are the superstars that have already announced that they will be in the Royal Rumble. Undertaker, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Big Show, Dean Ambrose, Miz, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Big E, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Luke Harper, Mojo Rawley, Braun Strowman, Chris Jericho, Baron Corbin, Cesaro, Sheamus, Big Cass, and Rusev. That was when you were talking there, and I wasn't responding back, is because I was trying to count up how many guys that was. That's 22.
And how many do they have in the Rumble?
30. So that leaves 8 unknowns.
Wow, really?
Yep.
8 unknowns.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they're doing that this year, because always, I mean, obviously there's, they always would say like a few, yeah, these guys are going to be in it, but they never came out and said it quite like that. So yeah, it's 22. They've announced that these are the guys in it, so that leaves 8 surprise entries.
So that leads us up to this part of the edition of the show. Who's going to be
surprise
those extra guys? Who's some of your picks, Rose?
Kurt Angle.
Yes, I agree with you. I got Kurt Angle on.
All right, I'm writing Kurt Angle.
I've got Kurt Angle.
All right. I am going with Finn Balor.
Finn Balor. I've got Finn Balor as well.
I just read an article on this one, and from what I'm reading, it's for this Royal Rumble match, but that's it for now. But it could lead up to further contract. He is I think he's in New Japan. He's been in Ring of Honor. Kenny Omega.
Huh? Kenny Omega. I do not have Kenny Omega.
Omega. I'm going to write him down. Let's see, who else?
Omega for Rose.
I'm going with Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe. I did have Joe. I've got Joe.
I'm saying Ty Dillinger.
I feel Ty Dillinger's in there, yep.
I'm saying Shinsuke.
Ooh. No, I did not have him on my list.
Shinsuke. So I'm going to say this is Jamie's list. I think that's it for my list. Let's see who Tim says.
All right.
Who are some of yours? Which
So
I have a suspicion that you've already sneaked a little bit of one of them.
I did have Kurt Angle in there. I did have Finn Balor in there. I did have Samoa Joe. And I didn't officially put Ty Dillinger down, but I figure I did think he was going to be in there. Did not have Kenny Omega, but I just feel like this is going to be the return of Hulk Hogan.
Oh.
I think Hogan's coming back. From what I'm hearing, they're back on better terms with him. I could see him checking into the Royal Rumble. A couple of these names might shock you just a little bit. I've been hearing rumors about Shelton Benjamin making a comeback.
Well, they did do that started doing an intro, like returning of Shelton Benjamin video. They did it for a couple of weeks, and then he had gotten injured on some training or something like that, and so that kind of put a cabalt on that one. But I could see that.
So, and this one might surprise you a little bit, but I have a couple reasons for this. Wade Barrett.
Oh.
Wade Barrett just made that WWE movie.
Yeah.
And I've heard he's been signing autographs again as Wade Barrett.
Oh.
And this one is a long shot, but I just threw it in there for fun. I'm going with Carlito.
Oh.
No reason behind that one at all. Just kind of felt like fun. It's a name I heard he was at an independent show not too long ago. Still does the whole Carlito routine. I spit in the face, choose the apple and everything. I just kind of it's just one of those fun ones. I have nothing to support that. It's one of those fun ones I'm throwing out there.
See, I feel like I need to throw one more in there, and I need to throw in a legend. And a guy.
I was trying to mentally think of some legends that were still active, but I had one that I was thinking, and I looked up a couple of YouTube videos on this guy. I'll let you get your pick in first, and I'll throw it out there.
I watched recently a documentary on this guy, and that was one of his goals was to compete in the Royal Rumble. And they did not do that when he wanted to. But I think this would be kind of cool. Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh, man. Jake the Snake.
Because that was one of his things. It was his. It was a whole documentary. They had it. It's on They had it on Netflix, and it was about Jake the Snake and him, his recovery from drugs and alcohol, and that was one of his goals was to compete in the Royal Rumble, and that was a few years ago. But they didn't want. They said no, we're not going to use you for that. But then they did say we want to use you for Old School Raw, and he did come out for Old School Raw.
I gotta tell you, I did do. I knew we were coming up on this, and I haven't put as much thought into it as I liked in the past years. So I did do some research on this one a little bit this time, just for myself, just to get a feel. Some of my old wrestlers and everything. So. One guy I came across that I could see coming back he looks almost exactly like he did when he wrestled before, and he's still very active as a wrestler. They said he hasn't lost much of a step at all, and his YouTube video shows it to be about the same. Sid Vicious.
That's a good one. I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame.
He's not, as far as I know, which he should be.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy broke his leg for crying out loud.
That was nasty.
Vicious, brutal.
Yeah. Let's just say, like, he jumped off the top rope, he came down, and, like, picture this being his leg. His leg, like, went out like this, and it wasn't bending the right, like, picture this being your knee, and, your knee only goes like this.
It was wiggling just like that, and you could see the bone.
His knee shot out like this off to the side, and he's laying down. Yeah, look it up. It's just, forewarn you, it's pretty it is gruesome.
Very brutal.
Who do you think's going to win the Royal Rumble?
I've narrowed it down to two guys. I can't come up with one single pick. I want to say either Goldberg or The Undertaker. And I feel Goldberg has a really good chance at it because I think they want to give him one last title push. I think he's signed on for that. I think that's part of the deal where they're going with. I don't think Stephanie would have offered that to him if they weren't legitimately going to consider doing that. And I feel like this past week on Raw, I get my two shows confused.
You're right, Raw.
Raw. It was Raw. When Brock Lesnar came to the ring, you saw who showed up there. It wasn't just Goldberg.
Taker was there too. Yeah.
Taker was there, and I feel like they're going to build up to one last feud between Taker and. I'm feeling like they're kind of measuring out the waters. Could we see a three-way dance there at some point? Could it be Goldberg, Undertaker, and Brock Lesnar?
That would be amazing.
Title hunt. But see, Goldberg or Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, looked more like he was standing side by side with Goldberg. Those two didn't really look at each other much like they had a heat with each other. They were both staring down Brock Lesnar. So I definitely think the Dead Man's going to want some revenge on Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And your Royal Rumble winner is?
Man, I don't know. I feel like they're leading up to Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I have a feeling it's going to be John Cena versus Undertaker at WrestleMania.
See, there's so many scenarios. You have to weigh all the different options and scenarios, but there's so many different things going on.
I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm saying Finn Balor.
See,
I'm putting it on. I'm rolling the dice. If he doesn't show up, my pick's out the window.
No. Now here's my take on why I don't think Finn Balor needs to win the Royal Rumble. He's already guaranteed a rematch for his title.
That's true.
So that's why I'm a little skeptical about will he show up at the Royal Rumble or not. I feel he's going to be there. I just don't feel like he has to win anything because he's already guaranteed his title shot when and if he wants it.
Yep.
Now it just depends because this is for what? This isn't for the Universal title.
Yeah, it depends on what show the people are on.
Okay, so they can.
So if they're a Raw person, it is for the Universal title. If they're a SmackDown person, it's for the WWE Championship. So it just depends on what show you're on. So which makes it interesting for Taker because if he wins it, I don't know what title.
Taker says Taker has been quoted as saying Taker goes where Taker wants to go. So he does not confine himself to SmackDown or Raw.
Which the last time he won the Royal Rumble, it was the same kind of thing. He had to pick what title he wanted to go to. And he kind of delayed. And finally, I think Vince said to him, you have to choose tonight who you're facing so that guy can get prepared for you. And that's when he chose Batista. Because at that time, it was John Cena had the WWE title, Batista had the World Heavyweight title, and Bobby Lashley had the ECW title. So he ended up picking Batista. And that was actually in Detroit, too. That one was at Ford Field at WrestleMania. But I think that's it for tonight on the Frenzy Talk here. We have a pretty good lengthy show here. So I'm going to be up till the wee hours of the night editing. So... but we hope you enjoyed the Frenzy Talk. Look forward to the Royal Rumble and NXT TakeOver San Antonio.
Wrestling gives us a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it does. It does. So the recap show will be for you guys Tuesday. We'll have it ready for you Tuesday. But tune in Monday night. We'll do the recap show Monday night for you guys. So hope everybody has a great weekend. I think it's supposed to snow. I don't know how in Holland, anyways. It's supposed
to be a cold weekend, yes. So, good weekend to stay in and watch some sports and catch up on some WWE pay-per-views. Maybe take in some Royal Rumbles before the actual Rumble. Anyway, everybody have a great weekend. We will see you back here again real soon. I'm the coach. Be blessed, everyone.
And I'm Jamie.